Welcome students. Welcome to the course of Transport Phenomena, lecture 9. So in previous class we had discussed about the flow through a circular tube. We had discussed about that, how to take the boundary condition and what are the given conditions, how to analyze the given conditions. We had discussed about that when flow is in z direction, then there is a in a in cylindrical coordinate we have v theta is equal to 0 and v theta is not a function of theta. Vz is also not a function of z because the flow is steady state, and vz is not in a direction of r, so vz is not a function of r, right? So these are the things we had discussed about that, and we had discussed that how to take the cell. We had previously mentioned that how to take a cell. We have to take a cell of a small dimension in the direction of changes. In this direction, in this condition, we have only one direction, which only one component of velocity which is changing in only z direction. So we had considered vz as a function of r, right? So we had made our uh, cell and we had analyzed what are the forces acting upon that. So we applied that boundary conditions. We had two boundary conditions. One boundary conditions we had applied for calculating C1 and another for C2, right? So first boundary condition was there must be finite shear stress in between the flow. So applying that, we have obtained C1, and then we applied no slip boundary condition at the solid liquid boundary, right? So we had in the previous class we had obtained the profile for tau rz, vz, and then we have applied it for vmax, right? Vmax is there at r is equal to 0. We have a vmax condition, vz, which is maximum. You can also observe from the profile of velocity profile of the fluid, right? So vz is maximum at the center of tube where r is equal to 0, and you will obtain the z maximum p0 minus pl upon 4 mu l, where p0, capital P0, is nothing but it is the small p0 minus rho g z, right? So this is our this we had obtained in a previous class. We had also obtained the velocity profile, right? Then we had also obtained the total volumetric flow rate through the circular tube, which is nothing but which is Hagen-Poiseuille law. So Hagen-Poiseuille law, what is the Hagen-Poiseuille law? It is for the determination of volumetric flow through circular pipe. So you would have also studied in fluid mechanics, right? So when you apply this, you have to uh, multiply it, the product of area and the average velocity. You had just obtained your average velocity, and average velocity throughout the cross section of the area, right? Throughout the cross section of the flow, then you obtain volumetric flow rate. Once you obtain the volumetric flow rate, we will also obtain the force which is imparting by the fluid on the solid surface. So this is nothing but this is the area over which the fluid is applying the force. This is the curved surface, inner curved surface through which the liquid is interacting with the solid boundary, right? So 2 pi l I r 2 pi r l is the area, and the force is it is nothing that but it is a shear force, right? This is the shear force, shear force which is applying on the on the on the surface of the fluid, right? And this is nothing but this is actually your pi r x bar p0 minus pl. When you substituted p0 value and pl value through the original pressure which was acting on the uh, one and another end, then you will obtain pi r x bar is equal to p0 minus pl plus pi r x bar l rho g. So this will be your force of attraction, force which is applying by the liquid in the process of flow. So this is your force. Now till now we had obtained. Now in this lecture we are going to obtain, we are going to see what are the conditions, what are the assumptions we had made to obtain Hagen-Poiseuille laws. So these are the assumptions that we are going to discuss in uh, next lecture, and this is some of the numerical example that I would request you to do that, right? So flow through and annulus is the main part which we are going to discuss in this lecture. Thank you all of you.